On this edition of Early Look, I'm going to be previewing the UFC 312 co-main event for the women's strawweight title. Weili Zhang, Tatiana Suarez. We're going to get right into it. But first, my name is James Lynch. If you've never watched the show before, I'm going to go through a bunch of different stats and intangibles. And then at the end of this video, I'm going to give you my prediction. Let's discuss this in the comments. I want to hear your prediction for this fight. Really exciting one. I've been waiting for this fight for so long. If you've watched my channel, you know I talk a lot about Tatiana Suarez on there. She is my favorite women's fighter to watch compete and go out there. But wait till the end, and then you can see my pick on this one, because obviously Tatiana dealing with a lot going into this fight, the layoff, injuries, all types of stuff. But like we always do on the show, let's do a quick tale of the tape between these two. One thing I kind of forgot is that they're actually around the same age. So Weili Zhang's 35. Tatiana Suarez is 34. 25-3 to 10-0, so big experience gap. A lot of that is injuries and layoffs for Tatiana Suarez. 5'4" to 5'5", 63 to 66, so 3-inch reach advantage for Tatiana Suarez, and she's a little bit taller, also a year younger. But we're going to start first with the current strawweight champion, Weili Zhang. Talk about everything she's bringing to the table here. So I mentioned this 5-round fight for the women's bantamweight title. Strawweight, not bantamweight. Bantamweight is Juliana Pena. So she is 25-3. She's got 11 knockouts, 8 submissions, and 6 decisions. She's 35 years old, 5'4" with a 63-inch reach. She's a she is a the women's strawweight champion, like I mentioned there. She has 5 she's the 2-time women's strawweight champion. She's had 5 successful title defenses in her first reign. She's got fight of the night 1 time against Joanna Jędrzejczyk. She's got performance of the night 4 times against Jessica Andrade, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and Carla Esparza, and Amanda Lemos as well. Weili Zhang did not have an amateur debut. She went straight to the pros in November of 2013, ended up losing her pro debut, made her UFC debut in August of 2018 when she fought Danielle Taylor. Where is that? Yeah, Danielle Taylor right here. She also, what was I trying to say? She has a 9-2 UFC record. She's only got 3 stoppage wins. I actually found that kind of interesting. For some reason, I had it in my head that she finished more fights, but just 3 wins by stoppage. Jessica Aguilar, Joanna Jędrzejczyk, and Carla Esparza. The rest have been the distance. Some notable wins for her in her career include Jessica Andrade, 2 wins over Joanna Jędrzejczyk, Carla Esparza, Amanda Lemos, and Yan Xiaonan in her last fight. She's got only 2 losses in the UFC are against the same opponent, and she doesn't even fight in the division anymore, and that is Rose Namajunas. She lost 2 times to her, first the head kick, and then the second fight, which was closer, and we'll talk about that decision in a second here. She's had a bunch of layoffs in her career. So going from the first Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight to the Rose Namajunas fight, there was a 413-day layoff. Going from Carla Esparza to Amanda Lemos, there was a 280-day layoff. Going from Lemos to Yan, there was a 238-day layoff. And then going from Yan, which is at UFC 300, to this fight, there will be a 301-day layoff. So that's the second longest layoff of her UFC career. Not sure why. I'm not sure why it took so long for Zhang to get back into the cage. I would imagine they would have wanted her for that Macau card, but a lot of things going on. But yeah, she has not fought since April, so that's one thing to sort of keep in mind. A lot of people think, Suarez is the one with the big layoff, and she certainly does, but Zhang's got a bit of a layoff coming into this fight as well. Okay, let's talk about that first. First let's talk about the Joanna Jędrzejczyk fight. That was a split decision. That's worth mentioning. Some people feel like maybe Joanna was able to edge that one out. Of course, Zhang was the favorite in that fight. And if you look back on MMAdecisions.com, you'll see that 15 media members scored the fight for Zhang, only 6 scored it for Joanna Jędrzejczyk. And it's not the be-all end-all, but just something to consider that the media did feel like Zhang ended up winning that fight. Then we got the Rose Namajunas fight, which she ended up losing. Where is she here? And that was the fight where she lost by split decision. And that one as well, if you look at it, that was UFC 268 back in November of 2021. 14 media members scored the fight for Namajunas. 1 scored it a draw, and 7 scored it for Weili Zhang. So again, most people felt like Rose won that fight, but sometimes people have revisionist history and they're like, well, Zhang got robbed in that fight. Well, majority of people felt like Rose did enough to win that fight. So I wanted to mention that real quick. Let's get to Weili Zhang's stats. So you look at it there, 5.66 significant strikes landed per minute. That's fairly high. Her striking accuracy is at 53%. Her strikes landed per minute is 3.15. Her striking defense is at 53%, so it gets hit a little bit. Her takedown average is 2.51. Her takedown accuracy is at 46%, and her takedown defense is at 50%. That's a key stat here because obviously she's fighting a wrestler here in Suarez who's also got a good ground game. So 50% takedown defense, not good stats for Weili Zhang going into this fight, but if again, the fight starts standing, and I would definitely agree that Weili Zhang is the better striker in this matchup. So we'll see if that pays off. Now let's get into Tatiana Suarez, the undefeated American, 34 years old, like I mentioned. She is 5'5" with a 66-inch reach, so she's 1 year younger and has a 1-inch height and 3-inch reach advantage in this fight. She's got 2 knockouts, 5 submissions, and 3 decisions. She's currently ranked number 1 at strawweight. She's a multi-time medalist in women's freestyle wrestling at the World Championships and World Junior Championships. She's also a silver medalist at the World Cup for wrestling and a gold medalist at the Pan American Championships. We all know the story, right? She obviously was a decorated wrestler, then came into MMA with not much experience and ended up winning the Ultimate Fighter. She's a BJJ black belt. She trains out of Extreme Couture and the UFC PI. She was the Ultimate Fighter Season 23 winner. She made her amateur debut way back in February of 2014, made her pro debut later that year in July, and then made her UFC debut in July of 2016, where she ended up winning the Ultimate Fighter by defeating Amanda Cooper, who's actually Cody Brundage's wife now, interestingly enough, in case people don't know. She's 7-0 in the UFC. She's got 5 stoppage victories. She's got a lot of notable wins despite not having a ton of UFC fights. Check this out. Alexa Grasso. Now, obviously, Grasso fights in a different weight class. Carla Esparza. Nina Nunes was ranked at the time. And then, obviously, Jessica Andrade in her last fight, which was back in August of 2023. So the story with Tatiana Suarez and why we haven't seen her get a title fight, she unfortunately has been plagued by a lot of injuries and a lot of layoffs in her career. Check this out. So going from the Amanda Cooper fight where she won the Ultimate Fighter to Viviane Pereira, there was a 491-day layoff. Then going from Nina Nunes, because after that she was fairly active. I mean, she would fight, she fought in May of that year. She fought twice in 2018. Fought in 2019 and they did not fight again until 2023. So going from Nina Nunes to Montana De La Rosa, there was a 1,358-day layoff in that one. Huge layoff there. I mean, there was some thought that she might never come back because, again, she was dealing with, I think it was a neck injury and a variety of other things as well. Just a string of bad luck with Suarez when it comes to injuries. And then going into this fight, so her last win was the win over Jessica Andrade, second round finish back in August of 2023. That was the same year as De La Rosa. She fought her. So she'll be fighting here February 2025. She has a 553-day layoff going into this fight. So it's the second longest layoff of Suarez's career. She was supposed to fight Jandiroba back in December. They said it was an injury, but I don't really know what that was or anything that happened there. I also heard that she got pulled from that fight. And then there was the Amanda Lemos fight where she also withdrew. So not too sure there, but again, it wouldn't surprise me if it was an injury thing because Suarez just can't seem to stay healthy. Suarez has not had any close fights. She's all won them decisively, no split decisions or anything like that. And her stats are very impressive. We have a gander there. You can see 4.27 for Tatiana Suarez, significant strikes landed per minute. Not really known as much of a striker, but still has a lot of striking accolades. 63% striking accuracy, so she does hit the mark more often than not. Her striking defense is at 51%. Takedown average, 6.20. Not surprised there. Again, with that high-level wrestling, her takedown accuracy is at 61%, and her takedown defense is at 100%. Although I doubt Weili Zhang is going to go for any takedowns in this fight. So that's everything you need to know with the stats. And then let's have a look at the odds right now. You can see Weili Zhang coming in as the favorite, almost 2-1 here, minus 175, minus 165 there. Suarez about plus 145, plus 135 in a bunch of books. And on Tapology, similar story here. You'll see a little bit closer, but you'll see there 66% of people on Weili Zhang. Okay, which way am I going in this fight? Am I going with the odds? I am not. I'm going with the underdog here, Tatiana Suarez. Now, look, a lot of this is going to bank on the fact that we're getting a healthy Tatiana Suarez. If we're getting a healthy Tatiana Suarez, I think she wins this fight. I don't think Weili Zhang has fought a wrestler like Suarez before. I don't think she's dealt with someone that's got the speed and the power that Tatiana Suarez has. I mean, she is an incredible talent. It's no secret she's my favorite female fighter. I really enjoy watching her fight. I think she's an absolute talent. And I go back and I know this fight's a couple of years old, but when she fought Carla Esparza, this was back in 2018, that was a complete beatdown. And that was a pretty big step up because I know Grasso at the time was not having a lot of success at 115. She ends up moving up a weight class, obviously becoming the champ. Viviane Pereira, she hadn't fought great opposition. Amanda Cooper didn't last very long in the UFC, right? And then she beats Pereira and Grasso. But that Carla Esparza fight, and granted, Esparza, has had a bit of an up and down career, but she has won the belt 2 times now. She destroyed her in that fight. Go back and watch that. I know, again, we're talking about a fight that's 7 years ago now, but still, that fight I remember being okay, she's going to win a title someday. That was a really impressive performance. Now, the Nina Nunes fight, not as impressive, but remember, she had the neck injury in the fight and didn't perform as well as she could. And then the fights that she has been healthy, we've seen finishes here. Montana De La Rosa, Jessica Andrade. Now, look, Weili Zhang is tough to take out. There's no secret about that. Rose Namajunas seems to have the recipe to defeat her here. If you look at Weili Zhang, she's never been submitted in her career, and Suarez could potentially be the first one to do it, and I could see it happening, but I'm actually leaning more Suarez decision here. Now I know what you're thinking, James, it's crazy. Tatiana Suarez, she's only won 3 fights by decision. But, you know, I just think with her coming back off such a long layoff, I think the most important thing for her is just to go out there and get the win. And it's not about necessarily trying to dominate or, you know, do anything crazy here. Now it is 5 rounds. So, you know, I could see a submission happening, but I think a decision's more likely just because she's fighting a veteran in Zhang who's seen it all, right? She's fought everyone. Now, I know I just said that, you know, she hasn't seen a wrestler like Suarez. I still maintain that, but she's also extremely experienced. She's got really good striking. And I could see this being on the feet for a bit and Zhang getting the better of her. Like, I get Zhang being a favorite here. I'm not, like, I know I'm going a little bit on the limb here, and Zhang's been more active and all this different stuff, but, you know, there's not a big age gap. The other thing that we got to consider with Suarez, she hasn't taken much damage, whereas Zhang has. She's had wars with you on Jacek. Suarez has never really been in a war. So I look at the wear and tear with Zhang. That's an issue too. Again, Zhang never been submitted. 50% of Suarez's wins are by decision. If Suarez can stay healthy, I just think this is her fight. And again, I'm taking a bit of a bank here. Like, maybe she isn't 100% healthy. I don't know, but if she's able to get these takedowns early in the fight, I think she can just control with the wrestling. And I think her ground game is good enough too that she can keep her down there and just continue to get takedown after takedown. She's got to worry about Zhang striking. I will say that, you know, she hasn't really fought a striker. Like, Andrade has certainly got some power. Andrade can certainly put people out, but I mean, Andrade has also had a very up and down career, including losing to Weili Zhang. So I think Zhang will give her some trouble on the feet, but I think eventually Suarez will get it to the ground, control her there, and neutralize that stand-up. So I'm going to go Tatiana Suarez by decision. I'm going to obviously bet her because she's a underdog here. And I'll also be looking for that Suarez by decision prop. You're going to get really good odds on that, I would imagine. In fact, let's see if we even have those right now. I don't know if we do. Yeah, we do. I bet it's something big here. Let's see. Suarez wins by decision is... Oh, we don't have it yet, I don't think. Let's see if we got decision. No, we don't have it yet, but Suarez by decision is going to be good odds. So I'm leaning Suarez decision. I think she gets it done. I think she goes out there and becomes the champ, and they don't call her the female Habib for nothing. I'm a big believer in her, and I think if she's healthy, like I said, I think she wins this fight. You know, Zhang, she's great, but I think Suarez is like a once in a... I don't want to say once in a lifetime, but she is a phenom in the women's division. And you just, again, if she looks anything like she looked like in her last fight, I think she goes out there and wins this. So I'm going Tatiana Suarez for the upset. So I want to know what you guys think in the comment section below. What is your prediction? Let me know. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell. My name is James Lynch. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.